Okay, we'll get it started here today. I think we're gonna start this one out on a old school kind of positive approach like we used to do in our Tuesday meetings. We're gonna go around and give some wins of the day. These can just be simple personal wins or business wins, but it's always good to start the day off on a positive note. Kong, do you want to give us your kind of win for the week, and we can go around from there and discuss with everybody.
Sure. Heading to an appraisal today and feel very positive about it. One of the things we did before I took the listing, this was a bigger home and it just felt bigger than what the tax record had said. So I paid an appraiser to go out and just measure the house. You know how they have that one page in the appraisal that shows the measurement of the house and stuff. So uh, the appraisal was the measurement came in about 200 square foot bigger, and I'm able to use that to give to the the appraiser that's actually doing it for the lender, and he'll probably be able to use that. So that's a big win.
That's awesome. Did you call Tori on that?
No, actually, this one Brian Hollister did it for me.
Okay.
Yep,
Yeah, that's a great approach. Obviously, sometimes people put, additions on or ch floor plans get changed when they build properties and it doesn't
exactly.
necessarily get reported to the tax record. So it was good that you were ahead of it and are able to market that and get the value there for the new appraiser.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's awesome. Let's go with Matt Wall. It might not be a fantasy football win, but what do you have for us here this week?
Oh, just got a message from the attorneys for buyers that a big property that have been working on for a few months is hopefully going to settle at the end of the month. So that was a good email to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Brent, what's going on in the property management world and what win do you have for us?
I'll just piggyback a little bit with Kong. We listed a property for rent. We had it for rent for about 2 weeks, and the owner decided that she didn't want to rent it anymore, that she wanted to sell it, which we can help her with. And we listed the property, went under contract um, within, I think, 10 days. And the buyer did elect to have a mortgage and the mortgage contingency. However, they decided to pay cash for it. But in doing so, they wanted to make sure that they didn't overpay and they paid for an appraisal. Well, that appraiser went out on this Friday at 11 a.m. And by 2 p.m., that appraisal came back. He left there and he's like, hey, I'm done for the day. I'm going to go back to the office and I'll get this inputted and I'll have it over by the end of today. And he did. So it was amazing how quickly that was turned around um, for, knowing that we don't have to worry about that appraisal anymore. Um, Yeah, and in regards to property management, we're doing really good. Kind of a little weird timing. The last 2 weeks, maybe the inquiries have slowed down, and we kind of thought it was everybody was on the eggshells with what was happening last week, but
Sure.
we're still getting inquiries, just not as many as we've seen a couple months ago.
That's awesome. Generally, have you seen rents still kind of climbing or have they leveled off
Yeah,
as of
they
recent?
pretty much leveled off, um, depending on the area. To be honest with you, in the Carlisle area, they are getting saturated with rentals. available rentals. So to be quite honest, they've actually softened. Um, so depending on the area, the other areas that are still very strong.
Okay. Do you think that's are these new rentals, new apartments, new townhomes sort of going up, or do you feel people have made purchases over the last 2 years and maybe not be able to sell their house exactly for what they bought it for? What's your feel on that
The
type of
majority of it
inventory?
is they're building complexes that are all rentals.
Okay.
That's the majority of it. But we have seen exactly what you just said, where they did purchase it. They have to move or relocate, and they can't sell it. So we just got one of those just because of that fact right there.
Sure. Well, and that's a good point I want to bring up and just plug for everybody on this call and our whole company is that our property management company is an option out there for clients of yours who might be in a position where maybe they bought at a high price range, escalated high, and can't exactly get what they necessarily need out of it, have to move, but they might have the ability to rent it. You can reach out to Brent and he'll take good care of you. And as we always do, when the time comes that they do want to sell, obviously that's your client and it goes back to you. Brent, do you want to touch on anything else on how that process kind of works? But we've done that over the years multiple times
Yeah,
for our agents.
many times. It is ultimately your client. We are just here to help you provide any and all services to your client. Basically, again, it is your client if and when they would ever want to sell it. And we actually write that in the contract that it is your client. If and when they ever want to list it, it goes right back to you. So it is handwritten or written in our property management contract. So we just take care of their property management needs so you guys continue to sell. We'll just do the management, but if and when they do want to sell, it goes right back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Brent. Let's keep moving on. Shelly, Ott, how are you doing? Good morning. Can you share a quick win of the day, as we call it? Anything from business, personal? Actually, I think my uncle was
Oh
telling me
yeah.
a story about an open house that you did
Yeah.
that was definitely beneficial for you.
Yeah. Yeah. I was pretty excited. I got a new listing. It was in Carlisle, a really nice neighborhood. And I was telling Tim about it. And he said, yeah, you need to have an open house. So I did that. Um, I, I received three offers. One of them was mine and went under contract, a cash deal, and I get to settle before the end of the year. And that puts me above my goal that I had for the year. So I was like, this is awesome.
Oh, that's great. Very, very cool. Yeah, we'll get into talking about goals and goal setting and business plans here in just a bit, but that's exciting to hear. And open houses can be beneficial too. A lot of people have their opinions about them, but you know, it, at sometimes you get a good lead and you strike gold with that. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
because I picked up a new buyer and she has a house to sell in I don't know the Carlisle area that well, but was telling Tim about it and she has a house to sell in a really good neighborhood. So I've been hooked up with her. She doesn't need to sell to buy. So that's exciting. She can buy and then we'll sell it. So I
Yeah,
would just like to get into the Carlisle area a little bit more.
sure.
So I'm pretty excited. And I have a mobile home in Carlisle also. And it's coming active on Friday. And so far I have 7 showings. So
Wow.
I'm
That's
excited about
great.
that too.
Well, it sounds like you're definitely expanding your reach in your service area, and that definitely helps grow your business. That's great. Let's go with Dave White here next. How are you, sir? Good morning.
I'm great. Yeah, have a listing appointment today. Some people on my some past clients have called me and I have an appointment with them next Friday. So yeah, it looks like and we just had a settlement last week. So yeah, things seem to be moving along okay, and still have other leads that I'm following up on. So
Awesome.
things seem
With
to be
that
going
that
okay.
listing appointment today, obviously inventory is still pretty limited. Do you mind sharing some details in case folks have, a buyer that it could work for?
Yeah, it's actually right next door to the one that just settled last week in on Curvin Drive in Lower Paxton. So it's a raised ranch. I think it probably has 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. The setup is almost the same. So, but yeah, we'll see what the time frame is for these guys because they want to relocate as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, keep us posted on the details and, if anybody has clients that might be interested, obviously reach out to Dave.
Okay,
Um,
thanks.
yep. Jim Penny, do you got a win for us here this morning?
Yeah, I do, Brooks. I got a listing and a buyer's sale from a old client last week. It's a place down in Hanover, not far from the Maryland border, and within commuting distance of Baltimore. So
Okay.
it's 83 Coop Lane. If anybody has somebody for it, let me know. The only thing is, and I've talked to Kong about it, it's only a year and 2 months old. The guy just bought it, and now he's selling to buy a new home. He's not the cleanest guy in the world, so it's a little cluttered. It doesn't look bad, but once the clutter is removed, somebody will have a new house, and there's no damage. So we were debating whether or not we ought to have the pictures up. I don't think they look horrible, but it does show the clutter, or just have the listing up there without the pictures. So I'll throw that out there for opinions, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had the photos done yet and if there was any type of staging involved in that, but it sounds like not at this point. But Kong, do you want to touch on that and what your thoughts are in regards to properties in this situation? I think you're on mute, Kong.
There are several options with this listing. One, because there's so many new builds within the neighborhood, and a lot of them are just posted with a front photo. You could list it without any interior photos if it doesn't look good. Okay. The second is the situation of the seller. Now, he's buying another house without having to sell this one. Okay. It might be to his benefit to go ahead, purchase the new house, move all his stuff into it, and then list this house. Right? After everything's done, you get it cleaned out and it's vacant, it's empty, it's ready to go. Then you can put it up for sale. It's just a conversation that you have to talk to the seller and convince them that, look, you're going to get more money if you wait. Yes, you might have to make one extra mortgage payment or whatnot, but it's going to work to your benefit because right now the house in its condition is probably worth only about 5 to 10% less. Whereas if we can get you out, get it cleaned up, you're situated, you're done. We put this house on the market. Um, it looks nice, it looks fresh, it can compete with the new builds in there. Then he can really convince buyers that, hey, you can buy this for less than the new construction and that's ready to move in. Here you go. So those are my suggestions.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and it's nice when you have a seller that is in that position where they can afford to have two houses and maybe make a double mortgage payment, once or twice, because people do have a hard time seeing past other people's belongings, and it might not even just be clutter; it might be somebody's eclectic style and decorations that they've chose to put in their property. So anytime you're able to kind of give that blank slate to a buyer to envision the space as they see fit, I think is definitely a plus. So
I mean,
that's probably what I would do too. I mean, obviously you pointed out that you could list it with just exterior photos, but obviously people have their ideas of what that means when you're looking at it online. There's a reason there isn't interior photos. So it kind of stigmatizes the property, in my opinion, a little bit when you do that.
Yeah. It's kind of
yeah,
a tough one because he really wanted to get it on the market. I don't think he would have gone for delaying it, but you never know. So,
that's where you need to say, look, your monthly
yeah,
payment is $1,800. If you have to make two payments on this house, it's $3,600. Do you think you can get him $3,600 more than what it looks like right now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a harder conversation to have, and you got to be delicate without, offending anybody. But it definitely, in our opinions, is in their best interest to kind of give that buyer a blank slate.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, moving on here. Morgan Tressler, I see you're on the call. Do you have any wins for us you can give us this morning?
Hey guys. Well, I would say I have two wins. One, I officially am hiring my mom as of January, so that's super exciting. She'll be working for me in administrative, so that's my big win for the year. She retires and is coming to work for me. But then, kind of a fun little thing that happened. I have a client that is a buyer of mine, and they reached out to me about a for sale by owner. And I knew the address when he sent it to me. I hadn't seen it come up. And when I pulled it up, I realized I had given them a CMA. I looked back, it was in 2016. So I was there in October of 2016. So this October, I showed the property and signatures are out, but we have a verbal agreement that my buyer is buying the house. So that's kind of a fun full circle that they were going to move to Florida like 9 years ago, 8 years ago, and their kids were in high school. So they waited, and now obviously their kids are grown and it came full circle, and I am hopefully have the house under contract today. So that's
Wow,
fun. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yep.
And that's exciting about your mom. I think my mom personally knows kind of how that dynamic works. She got
Yeah.
roped in after retiring as well. But that's cool. That definitely will allow you to expand your business and do more, it sounds like.
Yeah. And I mean, to follow up on that, I don't know if everyone saw, but Sherry Anderson has moved to Florida. And it was supposed to start as of January 1st. I was supposed to be merging my business with hers, and we were going to work together till her license was up for renewal. But her new company is not allowing her to advertise with Remax anymore. So her business will start coming this way here pretty soon, and we're going to start working together to grow. So I'm excited about that. Kind of, I think it was talk like Shelly said, growing my business in the Harrisburg, out in her area, because I do a lot on the West Shore, but the East Shore is kind of smaller for me. So hopefully that'll expand as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, very exciting. Um, Bob Stevens, how are you, sir? Good morning. Can you give us a win?
Actually, I have two. I finally found out what the phrase "built like a brick," whatever is, and it's a home that I've got settling at the end of the month that has a septic tank, and that thing is 85 years old. They did a hydro test on it. It read perfectly, and then they did the inspection, and they said there were no flaws in that thing at all. We're going to go to settlement with an 85-year-old septic system that needs no repair. Couldn't be happier about that. And
That's
the other one is that I had a client that came in yesterday thinking of building, and your Uncle Tim met with him. I met with them, and they look like they're ready to move forward with that. So, and it's a property on the creek. they're very happy with that. Yeah, that's it.
That's very exciting. Yeah, and that's a testament to they don't build them like they used to, I guess. I mean, that that was cool to hear about that last week. You and my grandfather were talking about it, and Poppy was saying how, man, that was common back in the day, and apparently they last a while,
Yes, they do.
opposed to conventional systems. So, man, that's amazing. You got a great test result, and I did talk to my uncle here this morning, and it sounds like we can definitely help those folks out, and we're on the right path with that lot they own and what they're looking to achieve in a new construction home. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. If anyone has any clients, we're always here for you on the new construction side. So reach out to Tim, myself, and we can set up a meeting and sit down with them and look at their options. Um, Ryan Schaefer, how are you doing, man? Uh, do you have a win for us here this morning?
Hi, how are you, Brooks?
Good.
So last week we had two listing appointments. One of them was cleaning their house out, and then we're going to be listing it, I think towards the end of the year. And then tomorrow we have pictures in at 253 Justine Drive. It's right off of Norland Avenue. The price is going to be like 459.9, I believe. It's like a 2 bedroom, 2 bath, on a slab. Um, what else? I did find a practice test, so I've been doing that a lot, trying to get through the test. But yeah, other than that, it's the business is moving. We're staying busy, and yeah,
Yeah, that's exciting. That's it sounds like you guys got a good bit of listings coming up and one in an awesome price range. So that's
yes,
very cool. Are a lot of those listings coming from past clients, centers of influence, or any of the marketing efforts you're doing down there? Can you
yeah.
tell us about
So
that?
so the one is a dear friend. Um, her husband is unfortunately in Meadow Haven now,
Okay.
and the other one was from a previous listing, and the third one, I think he saw a sign in the one development that my mom has, and that's why he called us because we had, oh, I know what it was. It was it's in Majestic Ridge. It's on the west side of Chambersburg. We had 3 lots listed and a home listed. We've had five five properties up there for sale. Um, Two of them have been sold, and now we just have the others left. So that's how
That's
that one came. So
Yeah, that's great. Yard signs still work. It's amazing.
yeah, they do.
It's one of those things that sometimes slip your mind in this market where you get busy and you don't run out and put the sold banner on it. But that's very important to do in this market because people see things go up quickly, and when they see it go under contract quickly, obviously that gives them a good impression, and business comes as a result. So definitely don't forget to do that if you have listings out there and they're selling. So next up here, let's see, Lee, how are you? Good morning. Do you have a win?
My win for this week was actually uh, going up to Halifax with John Lighty and Jim Penny. He has a new commercial listing up there on Peters Mountain Road, and it was really amazing to go through that property. You would never know by the front of that property what it looks like inside. It's because there is a residence on site. So I'm excited about that. I put it out to somebody that I know that um, could possibly be interested in something like that. So I'm hoping that that will generate some interest.
Yeah, very cool. That's exciting. Sounds like you got two great guys. Obviously, we're biased, Jim and John. you got a good team working on that one, and it should pan out for you. That's great. I think we touched on just about everybody here this morning. Before we get to the business plans, Mom, Aaron, you guys both might want to piggyback on this one, but I know we got some postcards developed for everybody about our annual Santa event going on. Do you guys want to tell us about those and how you guys can use those in your business? A lot of people talked about getting listings here from past clients and centers of influence. And this is something that we're given to all our agents that can help you guys serve your business and or serve the people that you know. So, Aaron, my mom, you want
So
to talk
Kathy's
about them?
showing you the postcard now. So we had postcards made like we did last year. Just let me know or let Kathy know how many you would like to send out to clients. It's a great event. We have tons of fun. It's on December 8th from 1 to 4, I believe. We have an amazing Santa. Who's also known as JB. But he makes a great Santa. Morgan helps us out a lot too. We do a whole hot cocoa bar. We have it all set up. We do ornament making, throughout the, different rooms and stuff. So it's a really fun time. Everybody I've invited, Kathy, all of the people that have invited, they love it and they look forward to coming every year. We also have a company that comes in with the
Characters.
no, not that Poppy, but the take your picture. Like we have the photo thing there. So that's there. So you get a digital print right away to your phone. So
Are we
it's,
doing the same company as last year on that one?
I think so. I have them booked. I just want to make sure that they're the best price, of course, but I I want to see if it's any still trying to figure out the digital versus print and if it would be beneficial to do the print too. But yeah, so it's super fun. We have a lot of fun. And it's free for your clients. And it's a great event to touch base with them, say hello, and another excuse.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had great participation over the years in doing this, and everybody's looking for a place to get their photo taken with Santa, and this one, they get it for free, which is awesome. And we always do the arts and crafts and ornament making and other things that the kids enjoy. It's a great family event. So please pass this along to your clients, get involved, and we'll make it another great event this year. Poppy, we'll jump in here to business planning. Do you want to kind of share your thoughts right off the bat before we take a look at the business plan in detail on how important this is and why everyone should take time during this time of year to
Yes,
plan for
Brooks.
2025?
And thank you so much for thinking of me first to make some comments because in going through my mind, oh, incidentally, my win is that the doctor's report said I'm cancer free at this point. So I want to share that and thank God that has happened. In the meantime, as far as the business plan goes, I want to stress this. This is sort of for our company, but it's really for you. So, in filling this plan out, this is a plan for the coming year for how much income Kara Schaefer's going to make for herself. Hong Dang's going to make for himself. Bill Watts is going to make for himself. So my point in fact is nobody, but nobody give up on their self. When they make this plan, commit to it, plan your day, plan your work week around it, plan your life around it, because it's your income and it's your baby. So just don't fill this thing out to fill it out. That's basically what I've got to say.
Sounds good. Thank you, Poppy. I'm gonna share my screen here and we'll take a look at the business plan. Give me just a second to hide our tiles, move some things in place. All right, there we go. So in getting into this, Kong, I might ask you to run us down through it here in just a bit, but the main takeaways to me in doing this every year is there's kind of three main parts to it. You can't really figure out where you want to go by not looking at where you've been and what's worked for you. So it always starts off by kind of doing this recap of what you did last year, what worked, what didn't work. And then from there, you set your goals for what you want to do in the following year, and then you put a plan of action in place to get you through those. So with that being a generalized scenario or synopsis of this whole thing, Kong, do you want to take us down through what this looks like and how everybody should be filling it out?
Sure. Hopefully you kept a pretty good track of your 2024 spending and income and see where your deals are coming in from. It all starts with itemizing your deals as well. For example, or what percentage of your deals are coming in from past clients, centers of influence, expireds, for sale by owners, right? You need to know that number. The biggest thing on here is days worked. Okay. I always look at the calendar and you want to figure out how many days are you going to work, because I know everybody always says, well, I work 24/7, but you're going to want to work Monday through Friday, right? And you're going to want to have the weekends off. Uh, but at the same time, you want to have vacation days, sick days, things to do during the day when your kids have a event at school. So you want to get that together and figure out, okay, out of 365 days in a year, my schedule says I need to work 226 days. Okay. And it's actually, I think I'm not too far off of that number either.
No, you're not. It's,
Right.
you know,
Right, Gene? Yeah, it's somewhere in that 220, 230 number. So if you want to make X amount in that amount of days, then you need to really focus uh, down to your hourly rate. You know, my hourly rate is this much. So you have to figure out these other things that you have going on that you want to do, and it's during the day. For example, I want to go home and mow my lawn before nightfall, but if you can pay somebody $40 to mow your lawn and your hourly rate is 250, where do you think you should be spending that time? Right? At work, not at home mowing your grass. So that's why you have to itemize everything and figure out what's your hourly basis on this. Brooks, you want to scroll down real quick?
Yep.
Okay, part B, income goal. What's your goal this year? Right? I want to make 250,000. I want to make the Diamond Club. Okay. So in order to do that, how many closed deals is that if your average commission check is, let's say, $6,500 a check, right? So that would be 39 deals. So 39 deals will get you there. So how many listings do you have to take to reach that goal? Well, let's say your business is 70-30, right? 70% listings. So out of 39 deals, of that, that's
deals.
27 listings, right? But we know not every listing sells. Okay. So if you're honest with yourself and you can say, well, I sell 80% of my listings, well, then you can't just take 27. You're going to need to take about 36 listings. Okay. So that would be your goal, is 36 listings. That's 3 a month. Okay. Buyer sales goal. So if you need 36 and 27 is listings, that means that's 9 buyer deals, 9 to 10 buyer deals to reach your goal. And not every buyer you work with ends up buying, right? Especially in this market, it might even be as low as 50%. So you might have to work with 18 buyers to reach that goal. Okay. Part C is the daily schedule blueprint. And this is so important because when we were coaching with Mike Ferry, this was the biggest thing. And I think Buffini focuses on the schedule as well. The schedule, nothing changes. Nothing should dictate your schedule. You got to stick to it. Okay. So make a schedule that works for you. Now, your schedule is going to change throughout the year, right? So you want to review it often, maybe once a month, just review your schedule because things may change. For example, in our area, the amount of sunlight we get, right? Daylight savings. So by March, we're looking at a longer day, and you may want to show houses later in the day and focus more on prospecting in the mornings and afternoons. Okay. So make a schedule that works for you and stick to it. Gene, do you have any more comments on the schedule? Because you were always very adamant about your schedule. I mean,
I think that there's a couple of things here, Colin and Brooks, that I think are very important, and that is whatever your goal is, you have to tie that to your schedule. And this, again, this stuff is not for us, it's for you. So can you realistically get up at 6 o'clock in the morning? And can you realistically be at your work at 8 a.m. and work realistically till 5? If not, change your schedule. Make it realistic for you. See, everybody gets hung up on, well, the 200 a year producer got up at 4:30. Yes, I did. The 200 a year producer did his scripts and dialogues from 5:30 to 6:30. The 200 a year house producer was at work at 8 o'clock every day of his life, 6 days a week. That's not for everybody. You've got to understand that. So adjust your schedule to what's comfortable for you and then allow yourself to grow. Don't try to do it from get one. We didn't, the first year that we changed over from Mike Ferry, we went from 40 deals to 80 deals. That's not 200. It wasn't realistic. I hope I'm getting this point across. If you really want to become a top producer, you've got to grow by increments into it from what you're doing now to what you can increase doing by what Hong you're expressing right now, this 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. schedule. I hope I made that very clear, because if everybody tries to do the ultimate, they're going to fail. And when they fail, they're going to get disappointed. Make it for you guys.
Yep.
Okay. You're doing a great job. Keep going on this. It's really coming out well.
Yep. Part E, major challenges and solutions. What are some challenges that you all are facing right now? Any good examples?
Kids. Interrupting your schedule. Yeah.
Yes.
Sporting events, different things that might take your attention away.
Right.
They're all legitimate and all honest. And if that's the most important thing in your life at this point in your life, put it in your schedule. That's where it should be. You should have that commitment to those kids. You can still do this job at an excellent rate.
My I guess my point was, with throwing that out there a little bit is if something comes up unexpected, you can make amendments to your schedule. You just need to know that you weren't able to get the Popeyes done you wanted that afternoon. And you move that to another day of the week. You can't just forego the activities you need to do to meet your goals. So everybody's going to run into hurdles or, adjustments that need to be made to their schedules, but you can't drop the ball on the things that you need to do to make your goals. But kids, for me, are definitely one of them.
Another challenge in our current economic environment with real estate is not a lot of inventory, right? That's the thing I hear often is we don't have enough inventory. So as a list agent, if that's a major challenge, you may want to think about a solution of expanding your territory a little bit, prospecting a little further outside of the greater Harrisburg area. You may want to go down to, for example, Jim Henny just went down to Hanover, right? You may want to go to even State College. That's a decent market over there, and they're part of Bright, and our license is good for the state of Pennsylvania, right? So if you have a major challenge, talk to one of us, and maybe we can come up with a solution for you and work on it. Okay. Part F, the benefits you will receive from achieving your 2025 goals. So years ago, we had a really great session with Donna Fleetwood. I'm not sure if anybody was there then when we made our dream boards. Do you remember that? We just spent an hour clipping through magazines that she bought in and just putting down our dreams, the vacations that we wanted, the real estate we wanted to buy, the cars, the clothing, stuff like that. So it's really important to focus in on what your goal is and have it always in front of you so that when you're here at work, it's in front of you and you know your why you're here. Okay. I think that's it.
Yep.
So this is a very basic business plan, very simple. You can really spend about 2 hours of work on it and focus in on your 2025. And if you would love for us to review it with you, we're here. We're more than happy to do it.
Poppy, any closing remarks for us before we wrap it up?
Yeah, the whole thing comes together. I think that every one of us has to start out with how much of a commitment we're going to make to this business. Every year you fall into the same trap. I did it for, I don't know, the first 15, 20 years I was in this business. I was doing 20 houses a year and thought I was pretty damn good, to be quite honest with you. Had a swagger about me. And then all of a sudden, I went to this first Mike Ferry event and I found out that I was probably the littlest fish in the biggest pool I ever saw. And it was because he handed us a formula for success. And then he said, it's up to you to achieve it. We're doing the same thing here. We can help you make it, but we can't help you commit to it. And that's where the line draws between some success and uncommon success. When you can start buying things and you can start going places you ever went, but it all because of the schedule and the commitment to that schedule. And boy, I can't stress that enough. I would love to see every one of us in this company coming to you guys every 2 weeks and saying, hey, I'm on, I'm off. What can I do about it? How can I do it? Now you're on the road to success because that was a commitment that Tim and I had to make, be on the road to success every week. So I think we need to get that feeling within the company. And when we're doing that, uh, we're going to do a lot better than we're doing now.
And
A
Gene,
lot better.
one thing to mention too, part of your um, business plan should be attend a seminar next year, whether it's Buffini or Mike Ferry. Remember when you and Tim used to go to those and we would go later on, Brooks and I, when we come back, I mean, we were just,
Oh yeah, you're on fire.
yeah, when you're there and you're
Yeah.
talking to people that are doing it and you're thinking to yourself,
We
why can't I do
we can
what they do, you know? So,
we can do that. Either Buffini or Mike Ferry are tremendous advocates. I think they're both really, really good concepts. Buffini is more long range and is not as pressure filled as Ferry, but um, it is a lasting great concept to use. And boy, I'm all for living with either one of those and starting to go to events, but they cost money. You know, that trip might cost you 25 or 30 or 3 grand. I'm not advocating not do it. I'm I'm advocating it. If you're going to do it, put it in your business plan, make it part of it so that you have to commit to earning that kind of money to go. You know, I keep saying that we need to have a retirement program. We need to be looking after ourselves. We need to be buying real estate. And we can help you with all that stuff, but you have to help yourself first. So I think this is a great exercise. We should be doing it about once a month. That way will be a friendly reminder to each other to help ourselves.
Yeah. Thank you, Poppy. Thank you, everybody who got on here and shared this morning. Really appreciate it. My grandfather made a great point too, in that, you're not just going to become an overnight success. If you want to improve your business, my uncle always talks about it, baby steps. Um, it all starts with us getting together, reach out to Kong, my uncle, myself, my grandfather. We'll sit down with you. We'll put together a business plan to, you know, increase your business one a year at a time. So use us as a tool. Hope everyone has a great week, and we'll see you next week.